Welcome back, everyone, to Soul and Self Collective. Again, I am Scott, and this is.
I'm Elizabeth.
And today's video is going to be more tailored to my experiences so far, mainly around my first Shai and learning about, I guess, more religion on my side, because I grew up in a Christian household, and everyone, well, we didn't really go to church, but my grandparents went to church, and I never really cared to go to church. I never wanted to. I hated the fact that people put money into a hat and it absolved their sins, and it was just never something I was really into. So I would say for most of my life, I would say I was borderline atheist, even up until the point of my first shy eye. I was still.
So I'm so curious, what made you be like open to shamanism and doing a shai?
um I've always been very open to other religions, and I've always been
Oh, okay.
curious. And when I saw you do your shy, it just made me curious, like, if that's all the information you got
Mm-hmm.
from doing it, like, what am I missing? What am I not seeing? What would be different for me compared to you? And that's was what sparked my interest in
Okay.
trying that.
I will say when you first did it, it kind of felt like tricks and parlor to you though. Like your excitement
I
and the
will
novelty.
I will say when I first started, it was
Mm-hmm.
more of a, I went in with no expectations. So I wasn't going in like, this is going to change my life. I want to be a different person. It was just more of like, what's going to happen? What are they going to see? What is it?
Yeah.
And it was fascinating because when it did finally come and I sat through it, by the end of it, it was interesting to know what my higher self was, where I came from,
What
and
were you curious about before you even started? Like went to your first session with Tassie?
I would say I was curious to know about, because by this time I already knew that there were multiple worlds depending on what religion it was,
Mm-hmm.
and I've always just been curious. The main curiosity for me was, where do I belong? Where, like, what world do I belong to?
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew I wasn't going to belong to the shaman realm, and I wasn't necessarily going to be part of the Christian realm. So I was like, where does my soul come from? So that was something that I was interested in learning throughout that.
Yeah.
And boy, was it a journey.
Yeah.
So that was a little background about, I guess, my religious background leading up to this point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and when that day came, like you said, I didn't have really any expectations or anything, but I went into it, and it was funny because leading up to it, I kept making fun of what I might be, because what led to it? Do you remember what led to the whole King of Frogs
Yeah.
thing that was going on?
So I was telling Scott about like my higher self and her dilemma in the heavens and whatnot. And then it led Scott to be like, well, I guess I'm just the king of frogs. He's so
Yeah,
dramatic.
it all started off as a joke, as like, because it didn't. I didn't really care about what I was in the higher, like,
Yeah, your higher
my
self.
higher self. I didn't really care what he was or what he was doing. So I was just like, what if that's what I am, and I control all the frogs in the afterlife? So it purely started off as like a joke, and it's just carried on from there. Um, that's not what I do in the other realm. So that was fascinating to find out. But making the appointment was interesting because you've already gone through it, and I was just I was just more intrigued. I was intrigued. And it was funny because everyone kept asking me, like, what are you gonna ask? What are you gonna ask? I was like, I have no idea what to ask,
Yeah.
because I didn't even have a baseline. I was just like,
So if you didn't know what to ask her, have
Hmm.
an idea of what to ask, why go through with the shayai?
Because I was just trying to get general information at that point, I guess. And I felt myself asking a bunch of questions that were similar to what you went through, like, oh, where's my higher self? Um, how many guides do I have? What do my guides do? What are their names?
Mm-hmm.
I was just asking a bunch of, I guess, trivial information, so to say. I wasn't going in there with like deep
Wait, so all
questions.
of these things, like the spiritual higher self,
Mhm.
spirit guides, and all that jazz, did you even believe in any of that stuff before, like my spiritual awakening and all that stuff?
I can't say that I did.
Okay.
I I wouldn't say that I didn't not believe in it, but I did not believe in it. It was in like the middle ground where I'm open to the idea of it,
Yeah.
but I was always one of those ones where like Tassie's always brought this up: two truths and a lie,
Yeah.
and to ask questions two times and two people are going to tell the truth, one person going to tell a lie. So I kind of went into it like that, where even when I got the information, I was like, how true is this?
Yeah.
And then that led to that thought. It just felt freeing believing in something.
Okay.
So when I finally did go in Shy Eye, Tassie did inform me that I'm from Norse, like the Nordic area, and that's where my guides came from, and that's where my higher self is a part of, which was fascinating for me because never thought of anything along those lines, and it felt freeing being able to tie myself to something
Yeah.
and actually be able to, I guess, research something and actually look and have a path that's not just you're Christian, go read Christian things. And it felt freeing. And I guess that's when I started to actually believe and accept it was I just kept asking myself, like, do you want to believe in this?
Mm-hmm.
And that was always the question I asked myself. And I was like, I do. And I do want it to be true. And that's the information that I got. So I accepted it, I guess. And that was very freeing as well.
That was real. I remember when, because I sat in on his shy eye because I was one being nosy, and two, I was writing notes down for him. At the time, I didn't know that we could record like the session. Not like I don't know about like video recording, but then like audio recording, I didn't know we could do that. That would have saved me note taking. I could just pay attention. But I was there to be his scribe while he was having his session with Tassie. And
Yeah.
so when Tassie had went into your world and whatnot, she actually didn't see like the word Norse or Nordic. She was describing like the type of clothing that you wore, that
Mm,
your guides they were wearing, and the surrounding area, the environment.
yeah.
And so it was actually you who bridged those gap.
That's true. You're right. She didn't directly say that's where I came from because she was says we have to find it on our own.
Well, you did, yeah.
Yeah. So I spent a lot of time trying to figure it out. And with the information that she gave me,
Mm-hmm.
we did a lot of research, and that's where we kind of fell onto
Mm-hmm.
was the the Nordic part, Norse traditions, and I forgot how we like confirmed it. Was it my spirit guide that was?
I don't know. You so Scott loves going in chat GPT, and I love chat GPT too. And so I remember you like researching a bunch of questions,
Yeah,
and then you're asking if Norse or Nordic has any type of shamanic type of religion.
yeah.
And then that's how you found
We found two different ones. One was Seder, which
yeah.
I'm not saying it the way that everyone else I've watched says it, but I don't roll my R's and I don't say it in the way they
Is
want.
it Sadiger?
No, it's they say it like Seder and then they roll the R or something,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's Seder is one of the ones, and vulva, or I don't know how to say it the proper way, but it's VULVA, vulva. Um, and I'm probably butchering both of those. Again, I'm very new at exploring what this is for me,
Yeah,
and
I mean, this is a new journey for you. You're still learning and exploring and
yeah, finding things
observing.
out. Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's, I wouldn't say it's similar to yours because your guides, I mean, my guides have been there the entire time as well,
Hmm.
but it felt interesting unlocking it and learning more about my guides. And I thought one of the most interesting parts about that whole experience was when Tassie said that she knew my guide from like years ago,
Hmm.
because for some reason my guide was with Tassie for like 2 years, and I've always been intrigued with that story and what it is. So hopefully I get more information from Tassie about that. But I thought it was very fascinating that she was with Tassie for 2 years and that we ended up bridging at one point. And I believe Tassie was saying that was like 10 years ago. So I thought that was very interesting, which again led to a whole nother rabbit hole of like, is it a possibility that I could be her student?
Hmm.
And we explored that, and it's not a yes and it's not a no.
Yeah.
We obviously have to wait until you're done raising your shrine,
Yeah.
and then once you are done, we were going to embark on that and see if I do shake at the shrine and if I have that ability to be Tassie's student and see if she can raise me outside of, I guess, the normal traditions. Because I
Hmm.
believe she was saying she's never raised anyone outside of Hmong as well.
Hmm.
So that's going to be an experience, but I can't do that for probably another 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the main thing I've been trying to do is meditate, which is definitely not something I do regularly. For the longest time, every time I meditate, I always end up just falling asleep. And I will say, for the first couple of months when I was doing it, I really wasn't getting anywhere with it. And it was very nothing to me. And it kept leading back to like, am I doing it correctly? Am I listening to the right stuff? Because I know, again, from the little research that we did, Nordic traditions are very drum heavy. So I
Hmm.
was trying to find the right drums that they might use to see if that would elicit anything. And yeah, I would say after about, I'd say about 3 weeks ago, I was finally able to see something and experience something, which was wild to me. Because I was like, even then, I was like, is this real? Or is my mind just making it up because I want it to be real? And then
Hmm.
I just kept telling myself again, right back to it, was like, do you want to believe that it's real? Because you can sit here and doubt everything that's possible.
Yeah.
But is that healthy? Is that really what you want? So I just kind of accepted it. Like, I am talking to them, I am seeing them. I was asking them questions, they were responding, um, which was fascinating. I was getting scolded by my higher self because I was like, "Bro, why do I have these attachments on me, and why aren't you getting rid of them?" And his smart ass was like, "You never asked." And I'm like, I didn't know I needed to ask, so I asked, and then he did cleanse me, but I don't know what all that entailed because that was kind of the end of
Yeah.
it. So
I will say that with my own spiritual like walk,
mhm.
letting go of that control of like trying to make logical sense of what you're seeing, what you're feeling, and what you're hearing, you have to let those go.
Yeah,
Otherwise, like, then you really are just imagining things because you're trying to control it. But if you just kind of let it flow and let it come to you naturally,
yeah,
you really are communicating with your higher self, your spirit guides, and where they're taking you.
yeah. And that's what I've been trying to do, is let go of those thoughts and trying to, because I've always been one that tries to prove everything wrong.
Yeah. Well, I don't
And
know because I remember when when we still lived at in Natomas
Mm-hmm.
in Sacramento, and I had my first sleep paralysis, and I was calling for you, and you finally came to me, and I was like, "Help me! I'm so scared." And you're like, "What was that like?"
Yeah, I was more intrigued with
What
it.
the?
You were terrified. I'm over here. I'm like, dude, tell me your experience. What was it like? What happened before?
You're
What happened
so
after?
mean. That was
It was
so
like an
scared,
experience. Yeah,
out of my mind.
I know. And I was looking. I was like, I had a notebook. I'm like, so tell me everything. Let me write all this information down. We'll take
Oh
care of
my
your
god, I
feelings
hate
later.
you. So anyway, like I
Yeah.
was saying, you like
Yeah, I'm probably not the
what
best person to be
ask
around.
for help.
Yeah.
That so what I'm trying to say is when you go in your meditation and when you see things, when you
Mhm.
feel things, you just gotta accept it.
Yeah, you just gotta accept the sleep paralysis.
No,
No.
no, no, no. Oh no, honey.
Oh
No,
no.
no, no.
We didn't know that at
Well, I definitely denied that entity.
the
Anyways,
time.
yeah.
But yeah, and we went back and forth about if like I went back and forth about wanting to share this because um it's very vulnerable to me because I don't know much information about um what I'm going through.
Boo boo, I'm literally sharing my shaman journey at level 1 with like all of our community.
But exactly, but you have a community behind you where you can get
I'm,
questions and
you have
information.
community too.
I know, but
You never know, our viewers, you guys might have information about Norse, Nordic, Seder, and
yeah, which I do plan on exploring all of those. I've done a
oh,
ton
it's
of
pronounced
research.
Vala.
Voila.
I don't know, maybe.
I know we used Google Translate once. I forgot what it
I
was.
don't think it's a Vola.
I don't think so either. And there's a V there, but it has the little things on top. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting because I know on the last video from Tassie, someone mentioned it there,
Mm-hmm.
and that was fascinating for me because that was the experience that Tassie was talking about was um my guides being very, I guess, demanding with yours.
Um, Low tolerance.
Low tolerance, that was the word they
Yeah,
used. Yeah.
your 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 main guide, she has a really low tolerance for my guides because my guides they're like busy running around cleaning the house, and doing this and that, and Papania Nijia,
What does that mean?
meaning that they're making a lot of noise and it irritates your higher your spirit guides. Sorry, not your higher self, your spirit guide.
Yeah, she was. Which leads to more funny things about the whole shy eye thing because I think one of the funniest things that happened was when Tassie went, I threw a sword at her.
You physically
No,
or
no, no, my higher self threw a sword at her, and I thought that was hella random because I know the two we've done 3 shy eyes,
yeah.
and I know the first 2 every time she went, he always threw a sword at her.
The first time.
Yeah, even the second time.
Oh, the second time.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So I always thought that was funny how.
No, the first time Scott's higher self threw Tassie out of the world. Like
Oh
she
yeah, that
literally
is true.
saw him for like a few minutes, and then he like tossed her out of the world, and he's like, "Oh well, that was fast." And then the second time when Scott had her go back to find out more information, he threw a sword to her that she had to call down her higher self. And then
Yeah.
that's when Scott's higher self was like, oh, I'm so sorry.
That was
So
dying.
sorry.
Yeah, I forgot that the first one she did just bleep him
Yeah.
out like, no, you can't be here.
Yeah, he just get out. And then, Jess was like, oh, okay, well, the journey just ended abruptly.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, because she was confused too. She was like, well, that never happened before.
Yeah.
So I thought those were funny.
The third time he was more cooperative because Tassie brought.
He was cooperative with Tassie because Tassie brought my other
your
guide.
Yeah.
And apparently my higher self and my main guy down here are very close. And she knew that, so she took her. But that was the time when they wanted to come give me something, and they put you to sleep.
Hmm.
and they shut your guide down. And
Yeah, it was something that was very personal just for you. I mean, even Jassy didn't listen
yeah,
to
because
the conversation.
I was trying to find out more information about my other guide because my other guide is up there with my higher self. And I remember when Tassie went up there, she was like getting yelled at by him because he was like, he does not need both of them right now. Like he already has one. Why does he need the other? And I was just trying to find out his name because I already found the name out of my main guy down here. I was just trying to find more information out about him.
Hmm.
And that was funny because when they came down, and then what was your experience when they came down? Because you were writing everything out still.
Yeah, I was writing everything, and then at one point, I felt like I was checked out. Like by checked out, I mean like I was put in a waiting room, and I couldn't like I heard things, but I didn't understand what was happening, and I felt like I was just on autopilot. You know, like when you're driving home and you just kind of zone out. That was what happened, which that never happened to me before. Like when I'm in during like a shy high session with Scott or for myself,
Yeah.
and especially when talking with Cassie, like my attention is at a full, and I'm paying full attention. But in that particular moment, during that part of the journey, when everyone traveled down to come talk with you, I checked out, and it's not because I was bored. I That person did something to me and my guides, and I felt like I was put in a waiting room. And
Yeah.
it was like it wasn't until
It was like
when
a few minutes
Cassie
after.
finished
Yeah.
and she was kind of debriefing with Scott, where I kind of like pooped back in, and I was like, oh, "What the heck just happened?" Like my energy just came back to me. Like I just dropped into my body and was like, "I'm back!" Like what the heck? Where did my energy go? I just became really energetic again.
Yeah. And then your guys didn't wake up until like 2, 3 hours later because we were in the kitchen.
Yeah, they it felt like compared to Pokemon, like if they were being paralyzed by pollens or something, and they were like shaking out of it. Yeah, my guides was not happy.
Oh, they came back very upset.
Yeah, they were like really. I could feel them glaring at Scott, and they were really upset. But if they wanted privacy, they could just like ask us to like mind give them the privacy. They didn't need to like forcibly put us on timeout. Like I can hear them still. They're like, he had no right to do that. No right. Anyways,
Yeah, that was funny. But what else happened during those three shies that you remember?
you got to. You didn't. Tassie got to meet your heavenly parents.
Yeah, she did meet my. I did ask about my heavenly parents and what they do and who they
Hmm.
are, and she did meet them and give me some information about them
Yeah.
and where they came from. That's where my main guide came from was my mom's side.
Hmm.
So that was fascinating, and apparently I have to give her back eventually
Yeah.
down the line.
We'll see
But
how that goes.
my higher self's really attached to her, so that I found that interesting. Um, but yeah, I just the main point of this video was just to give a little more background information on me and what I've been going through during this whole, I guess, start or resurgence of
I would
religion.
say where you are on your own spiritual journey, because I know that my own spiritual awakening was like a catalyst for you to be curious about your own self
Yeah,
and the possibilities and being sensitive to that.
yeah,
Because I know just speaking with your sister and your mom, when you were younger, you were actually spiritually sensitive. So his sister said that you would see your dead grandma.
yeah. I would say when I was younger, I did see and feel a lot of like dead people. I remember I used to lay in bed and hold my hand up, and actually it felt like physically touching them.
Oh,
Yeah, so
oh,
that was
okay.
fascinating. Yeah, I haven't really told anybody that, but everyone knows now. So, but
Oh,
yeah,
are you comfortable with people knowing that?
yeah, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
So that was, yeah, I was. I guess I have always been spiritually.
But it's so interesting because, like, oh, I remember in the past,
Mhm.
I would always ask you, like, do you feel anything, especially like when we were in lock or anywhere like remotely haunted
I
or
don't feel anything.
spooky? Yeah, exactly. See, that same response. Oh, I don't feel anything.
Yeah.
And so that's why when your sister was like, "Oh yeah, Scott used to see our dead grandma," I'm like, Scott?
Yeah. I know. That is weird.
And
And I've done everything you're not supposed to do on the spiritual side. Like I've played with Ouija boards. We've gone to abandoned hospitals and walked around and used Ouija boards there. We've used Ouija boards to
you
find
used the
things.
Ouija board at the hospital?
Yeah, we thought it would be more intense. I don't
Ooh, you
know.
just made me lightheaded.
Yeah, but I've always been that thrill seeker, so to say. Yeah. So you get to deal with that when you fix me eventually.
Great.
Yeah, that'll be fun. But yeah, do you have anything else that we should add
No,
to this? I can't think of
you're
anything
such a
else.
little monster. Why
What?
would you don't do those anymore?
I haven't done them in a long time. This is what I used to do when I was like
Oh my
18,
god.
17, 16.
I don't want to who you're please.
It'll be fun.
I don't want to.
Maybe I'll have an emo.
I'm
Maybe
gonna
I'll
go
have
to
emo
like the
one.
craziest place.
I know. You're gonna try and cut my head off like Cassie
No,
tried to
I'm
do
not.
yours.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna ask the secret question, and you better answer correctly.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would be interesting. But we have to wait until like later in the year. Maybe
It's
even
not
the
that
beginning.
late.
Like October, November.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was like, we might even have to wait until early January after you re-raise your shrine after you put it down.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be interesting. Um yeah, if you guys have any questions about, I guess, my experience, what I've been through, any more information about what I'm trying to do research on.
I'll definitely, as like Scott was talking about it, I'm gonna put up like the spellings and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I want to see how you guys pronounce it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll put up some information about, like you said, how to pronounce it, how to
I don't know how you're gonna
I don't
pronounce
know
it.
how to pronounce it, but
Yeah.
you can copy and paste it and put it
Yeah.
somewhere and
Yeah.
see how they do it. There's a bunch of YouTubers that do talk about it, and I'm just assuming they're saying it correctly, but I could be wrong. I don't know. But it was interesting seeing what they were, and even now I'm still trying to figure out like where I'm so fixated on trying to figure out like what I am, and I don't think I should be fixated on that and more fixated on like what path am I wanting to go, instead of trying to be like I am this and I must be this, so I'm trying to learn everything I can about that. So I'm trying to get out of that mindset.
Before we let you guys go, this little thief here. When he goes and meditate, he likes to use incense sticks, right? He went into my shrine room and he like scooted my little red strings from my tuning, and he took some of my incense sticks and my lighter, and he never returned my lighter, but he like took my incense sticks. Like, I'm gonna take some incense sticks.
I didn't know I wasn't
guys.
not allowed to take them. I know I at least asked your guys for permission when I was doing it. I didn't ask you for permission.
My guys, they were like, something's wrong. I'm like, what do you mean? There's nothing wrong. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. And then it wasn't until he came and like, oh yeah, I used your incense sticks. I asked him, don't worry. And I'm like, and so now we bought you your own incense
I do.
sticks.
They're not down here
Yeah,
yet.
that's okay. You have a bundle right there. And now we need to get you your own lighters.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that was pretty funny. Well, I needed an incense sticks, and you were upstairs watching Theo.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm not gonna go ask. Like, it's fine. I grab them all the time, anyways, when I'm setting the shrine up.
I think it would be better if next time you ask me.
Yeah, probably.
Ask me.
Yeah.
And I can go get it for you, because they feel some type of way about you just reaching in their home and grabbing out the incense stick.
Learning experience. We've learned it. We haven't done it since, so we'll go with that. But if you guys have any questions or want to know any more information, let us know in the comment section down below, and I'll be in there trying to answer them.
Yeah.
If not, we'll try and add them to some of the future videos that we're going to have.
Yep.
And awesome. Well, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.
Don't add that.
I'm gonna leave that.
Don't add that.
I'm going to leave that.
Don't do that.
I am.